is it time for us to say that the Deshaun Watson trade is the worst in history?
In history, I mean, there's a few that have been really bad, even before like the Super Bowl / era, like the pure Super Bowl era. So it's hard to say, but it is pretty bad. Like in general across sports. I'm going to start off by saying, look, I actually like Deshaun Watson as a person. I think, well, despite everything that's happened, I actually think he was on the rise when he was at Houston.
Well, as a player, you're talking about.
Yeah, as a player, I was rooting for him because he's shown he was kind of like CJ Stroud before CJ Stroud.
Right, you forgave him, isn't it? So
yeah. Something happened in those 2 years he spent out of football, and I generally think it's a case of because when you miss this whole season,
do you think he's got the Y word?
What's that?
The yips.
No, I generally think he missed out on reps. He missed out on throwing the ball. Here's the thing: even if you take a year out, you can't simulate the amount of reps you're going to be getting throughout the whole season. Was he throwing during that time? I know there was a lot of footage of him before his return that he was throwing, but you've basically got to get a team. I don't know, ask guys from Clemson, ex-players from Clemson, meet up at a field in your house or in a park, and you basically got to play. You've got to throw the ball and simulate live games. Pay the money if you have to, because it's showing that he missed 2 years of football. He's now in. Is this his third season back?
Yep.
Third season back. So there's no excuses.
It's still $230 million, guys.
There's no excuses now, and I feel sorry for people on that team because it's clear that they vibe with him as a person and as a player, but you're not winning.
No, actually, so no. I know you saw that video about Joe Paterno. Did you see what Joe Thomas said?
What did Joe Thomas say?
Joe Thomas said that offensive linemen, particularly the guys who are of that size, they don't like somebody to reach out for their hand and pull them up, right? They need to be like a turtle, turn on their backs and get themselves up, basically push themselves up.
No, I'm not buying that. He doesn't like
that. Is because that he said because players for him when he used to be like in that position, he would swat their hands away. That's exactly what he used to do for the Browns. He said, "No, I need to get up the way I get up because I'm basically an old man."
Okay, I get it, but at the same time, he doesn't like him.
But
something's going on in that.
Agenda must agenda.
Agenda must agenda, right? But so if we look at the actual like numbers of this game, it was an absolute car crash for Deshaun Watson, right?
Completions to attempts.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at that.
24 for 45, 51 passer rating, 2 interceptions, 6 sacks, a fumble, not lost, but it was as bad could be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just the opening game." No, we saw this last year.
No, but okay, hold on, guys, hold on.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're running it back again.
I don't think there's much hope here, right? But we'll go put a little bit of context to it. He's only played 12 games in the last 2 seasons, 2022 and 2023.
Because as soon as he started to think it up, he said, I'm injured.
Hold on, wait. But he was injured though in last year, so you could say okay, he played 6 games and then he got injured for the rest of the season. And then so it was an incomplete season in 2023. 2022, he was suspended the first 10 games, and then he came back to play the last 6. So it's been a bit of an incomplete season. So this is the year that they can truly evaluate. And I agree with you guys in the sense that this is really his last opportunity to prove that he's a starter, to prove that he just have to prove he's even an average quarterback. That's all the Browns need for this year. And then you go up from there because they are locked into him for, was it 5 years? This is the 3rd year of it. So
well, if you look at it, right, if they cut him, right, the dead cap is $173 million.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
If they cut him in a year and a half, the dead cap is still $100 million.
Yeah, they lost.
This is the worst trade in the NFL ever.
In terms of money,
It
yeah.
is.
In terms of
Because
money.
there's no way of getting out of it.
You can't. Yeah.
No, he's locked in. He's the starter for the next 5 years. So no matter how poorly he plays, he's still going to be the starter unless the Browns decide, okay, we'll bench you, we'll still pay you the money. Because even if you cut him, you're still gonna give him the money. That money is fully guaranteed.
Might as well,
he's
like,
still gonna get it.
My main thing is that there's players on this roster that are basically going to be thrown to the wayside as far as this isn't a championship team with Deshaun Watson at QB, which means a lot of players are basically going to be playing for nothing. And
The funny thing is,
that kind of talk
I
slowly
disagree. No,
builds
the
you.
Browns have.
So
They've got a good roster. If they decide to do things
all right,
differently,
if I'm Nick Chubb, I am getting out of there at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're not going to be able to get anywhere with him at the helm.
Myles Garrett, he doesn't owe him nothing. He doesn't owe him anything. He really doesn't.
Yeah, but they're giving you a bunch of money, and the only way you get out of there is if a team's willing to give it to you first, and that's the way the Browns would trade him.
Whereas Chubb is at the end of his contract. Chubb is at the end of his contract, so that's fine.
Chubb's probably going to be gone. Myles Garrett, though, I mean, obviously, if they give him two, and maybe not 2 firsts, top end QBs aren't getting that. So I reckon a first at least. It'll be a team that's a contender right now. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, but the thing with defensive players, you do tend to have defensive studs on bad teams.
Yeah. That's the reality.
Now, do you know what the really funny thing is? It's the most Browns thing to do, to go from, like, they had Baker, right?
He's playing great, by the way.
Right? And now they go to Deshaun, right? And now you look at Baker's performance over in Tampa.
Easy layup. I don't know. I think they've got a good head coach. They've got a good roster on paper that they can really build from. Just the QB situation. I don't know about the GM because I think it was all in all, it was his call and he made that. So it's kind of like his decision. So he might not be there heading forward, but he's built a good team. So that might be like a redeeming quality. Either way, the Browns aren't that good, and I don't think they're worth anyone's breath. Like Dallas, though, okay. Looking at Dallas, this was we were expecting them to win, but I don't think we were expecting them to come out this strong. But then again, this is kind of like this has been Dallas's MO the last few years. The average to bad teams, they always whoop them. They start rolling through those teams. It's the elite teams, the contenders that they start to struggle with, and they underperform. Dak played well, not great. He didn't have to throw the ball a lot. All right.
They didn't really throw the ball after the first quarter and a half.
Yeah, I don't think they needed to. Deshaun was giving them all the possessions they needed, the extra possessions. So I think their defense played really good. Micah Parsons, who I don't think hasn't got a contract, but if you look, he got a sack. You got DeMarcus Lawrence.
You got 2 sacks.
DeMarcus Lawrence got 2, didn't he? DeMarcus Lawrence got 2. Did he not? Michael Parsons got 1.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, Parsons got.
Eric Kendricks got 2. DeMarcus Lawrence got 2. Actually, no, Micah got 1.
Micah got 1. So,
and he got a tackle for a loss.
Very impactful.
That defense was eating. That defense was eating. Tackles all over the place.
I wouldn't say they were eating. I think.
It's part of the reason why Deshaun played so bad. The Dallas defense were playing really well.
No, they want to play. Okay. Dallas defense, they came out, right? But part of the reason why they came out is because Deshaun is not performing. They gave him some time and he wasn't performing. And if you hold on to the ball, you're going to get sacked. The Browns offensive line is actually quite good. So I'm quite surprised that they're like.
Now I know what the comparison was. Baker Mayfield becoming better than Deshaun Watson is only something that would happen to the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, that's true. Only the Browns. They can't
no one saw that happening. If someone had said, yeah, no, Baker Mayfield is going to be better than Deshaun Watson during this trade, it's almost laughable, right? But it's Cleveland Browns. They're forever cursed. Just when you think they've gone over that hump. They built that amazing roster and then...
See, the current Browns roster, right? The perfect QB for it is Baker Mayfield.
That's the irony, right? That's the irony. That's the irony. Yeah. Unfortunately, Browns are going to Brown, and that they continually shoot themselves in the foot.
For the offense, they decided to get rid of him for whatever reason. Because I get it, Baker was going through some troubles, but Baker always was the type of player you knew was due a rebound season at some point. Because when he gets that chip, he uses everything into it. And right now, the Bucs are benefiting of what the Browns should have.
And I like how Baker hasn't really put some salt on the wound, because usually the old Baker would be will be hopping on a burner account or just dropping off.
He has a new home.
He hasn't. He's got a new home. He's happy. He's matured. He's just carrying on. He's letting his play do all the talking. So that's really.
And Tampa is perfect for him. It's sunshine, good weather.
Yeah. Hey. Structure.
Hey, they're doing absolutely well. So Deshaun Watson, the worst trade in history, in my opinion. These guys aren't that far off that opinion as well.
Probably in my generation, I won't see a worse trade.
No.
In my lifetime, I don't think I'll see a worse.
And by the way, to finalize, my last word is Deshaun Watson just torpedoed fully guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
Probably.
They're not doing it.
No.
They are not doing
it. Especially not with that pitfall. Not at all.